Welcome back, guys, to episode three of the Eternum News Network, recorded live with Twitch chat over on twitch.tv/Davrim every Friday at around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on by the Twitch chat and you can join in the conversation about New World and get yourself potentially on the podcast itself, and we'll discuss things. This week, we've got some interesting news that came up. We've got the first server merges happening. It seems like Europe is the test guinea pig child for Amazon Gaming Studios in New World, because it seems like they always test things there and they find out if things break, blah, blah, blah. So we'll talk briefly about that. There's really not too many notes out there on the official site. However, there was some information that kind of was provided by players on really a smooth transition, except for one little issue, which is not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. And then we also have put on the PTR, we have the December patch. So if you're interested in testing what's going to be coming out, that hit December 3rd. On the PTR servers for a limited time, obviously. It's the December update, so we'll see that coming once it gets tested and all that stuff. But lots of things to talk about under those two things. So let's start with server merges. So we talked last week about some of the challenges that the New World developers and Amazon Game Studio has had with the launch of New World, and with really probably not understanding what the popularity would be, and a lot of QA issues that they've had. So we talked a little bit about that last week. But one of the things that they have talked about since they rolled out all those servers to help with the influx on day one was server merges, trying to bring some of these lower to mid population servers together so that they could, have more healthier servers with a higher population. Because quite frankly, a lot of their servers, because players are now done with the content that they want to play, I guess what I will call it, the 24-hour, as I say, MMO player who jumps on the bandwagon for views or for whatever, and then they move on or move back to another game, which is absolutely fine in the content creation world. But there are players such as myself creating content for it, and other people who absolutely love the game. And though it does have some issues, are definitely still going to be playing it. And for a lot of us on our servers, we want our servers to be healthy. We want a good player base. We want some PvP. We want PvE. We don't want the game to feel dead. And unfortunately for a lot of players, the game feels dead. So we are now in this, I guess, period of time where we're trying to figure out where New World's going to be in 6 months from now, a year from now. And I think merges, to be honest, is in a prime place to either succeed or to fail. They're really taking into account a lot of the player feedback. They've posted on the forums many times about what we as players want to see, what we would like them to put their focus on, which for a game with Amazon backing it is great to see. A lot of games, once they get so big, they don't give a shit about what the players actually say. I mean, take World of Warcraft, for example. World of Warcraft, way before the expansion, puts out, limited content for people to test, and then once the expansion's out, then they've got the testing of the raids and equipment and features, and players provide all this feedback back to Blizzard, and quite frankly, a lot of the times they just ignore it, and then eventually down the road, like you see with Shadowlands right now, they eventually do it, and they're like, oh, yeah, you guys have been wanting this for a while, here you go, like it's something exciting, where it should have been done that way in the first place. And so I'm glad Amazon is taking this approach of listen to the players now, make adjustments now to what they would like to see to keep players happy. Obviously, they know that the population of the game, was going to decline. after the initial launch, and until it stabilizes, they're not quite sure what the long-term population of the game is. But having games out there like World of Warcraft, like Final Fantasy XIV, like EverQuest, like Ultima Online, like Guild Wars, games who have basically proven the test of time and they're still out there, Amazon is in a good position where if they listen to enough players and they put out new, fresh content and fun content, they could bring some of those players back and get nice spikes in their player base and nice little boosts of revenue with the in-game cash store. And they could set themselves up for a long-term success for this game because, quite frankly, the players who are playing it right now are enjoying the game and are going to continue playing. So for some players, though, what really gets them going, what really gets their rocks off, if you will, is PvP and high population servers with large scale open world PvP and frequent wars and things like that. And there's only a very, very, there's probably a handful of servers across all of New World that still offer that experience because, well, let's be honest, when you have so many servers that are capped out and players are banging at your door complaining on day one that you don't have enough servers, there's not enough space, there's queue times. You roll out a whole bunch of servers that are eventually going to quickly become dead servers because overpopulation of servers with a declining player base that you can expect with a game like this, you have dead servers, and that's where we are. So a lot of players, and including some of my good friends and company members and war allies, recently off our server have transferred off just to go to a higher population server. I think our server is great. I think our server has a lot of potential, and I think server merges are really going to help our server. So I haven't transferred off. There's some other reasons. Obviously, I have friends that came to the server and things like that are locked in right now and can't move off anyways. So the idea of transferring off is obviously a personal decision for what you do. But, not to get into the drama of my company or the former my company, do it properly, right? If you're running a company, if you're leading a company and you decide for the betterment of you and the betterment of, I don't know, the high-end click members of your company that a transfer off is viable, remember that your company is more than just you and it's more than just a handful of people. It is a lot of people, potentially. We're talking, in my case, 2 full companies of almost 100 people both. So that's a lot of people. Now, not all are super active, but it should be discussed. It should be presented. It should be communicated. Don't be a sleazy cheeseball who just is like, well, me and my 5 friends, my clique, who lead this company, we don't want to be here anymore, and leave. And then a couple people leave, and then all of a sudden you send, your company who depends on that leadership into chaos. Thankfully, quite a few amazing people have stayed on our server with the company, and we've reformed, and we've won every war that we've had, which, a lot of people didn't believe that we were going to be able to do, losing some of our big leaders and heavy hitters. So if you are thinking about merging, or you are thinking about transferring before the merges, if you don't believe the merges are going to help, make sure if it's a solo decision, do it solo. Don't be shady. If it's a group decision, make sure you think about the other people in your play group. Make sure you think about your company members. Just make sure you really keep in mind, because ultimately you could be ruining the experience of someone else. And does their experience matter to you? Well, if you're a dickbag, then no, it probably doesn't matter to you. But at the end of the day, if you are some sort of important person in a company, if you're an important person in a play group, you should really be thinking about others before you make selfish and stupid decisions. And that goes with any game, right? I've lived through so many MMOs where guild leaders or leaders of a group, they just abandon their group, and it's shitty for the other players. And some of those players, the only reason they're playing is because they have that group that they play with. So you leaving them is really kind of an abandoned thing, and it really makes them feel shitty. And sometimes players just stop playing, and that's not the experience you want to have in a video game. So think about others when you're thinking about transferring and stuff like that. But if you are like me and believe in your server and believe merges are going to help, well, I can tell you right now, the merges have begun. Europe is the testing bed, it seems like, for New World. And there were European zones that got merged. And overall, the merges were very successful. They were stable. They were clean. They were easy for the players to deal with. The only one issue that did happen was any sort of revenue that a company would receive from a territory they controlled. When the merges happened, they did not receive that money. Here's the thing. In a game like New World, towns crumble and they have to be rebuilt. In a game like New World, money is an infinite resource. You just have to go out and farm it, and you just have to rebuild your town and collect your taxes and stuff. So in my opinion, if the only issue is that companies don't get a paycheck from their territories, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. You will take more territories. You will find new allies. You will be fine in generating the infinite resource that is gold in a video game. But like I said, that sounds really successful to me. I would like to see a timeline or when they're going to test the next round and kind of see a timeline of when they're going to roll this out globally. Obviously, if they're picking one region or two regions in Europe, there's a lot of other regions, namely the United States, which has a larger player base than other parts of the world. I would like to see when they start to roll this out. I would like to see a timeline produced by Amazon that says this is kind of this calendar, this is the flow that we would like to do to get all these merges done across the world. Now that we saw this successful test, now maybe there's some other back-end things that Amazon's looking at and diving into that they want to make sure are stable that might not be visible to us, the players. Maybe they're just trying to hammer that out, and I appreciate that, right? I really railed on them last week in the episode, finishing talking about the Into the Void, about their QA process. So anything they can do to increase the QA process, so any sort of changes they make are good and are impacting the player experience in a positive way, and not a shit show where they're depending on us, the players, to test everything and not a QA staff. So any type of extra work that they put in to make sure these merges stay successful, as it seems like they have in Europe, I am all for it. I would like to see a little bit more transparency. Like if you go to the New World website right now in their news folder, there's really nothing about the merges that happened in Europe. There's nothing about a rollout of merges. And to be honest, that just happened this week. And in my mind, that's big news. Then that's big information for the players to know. And I think they should be transparent about it, about what they saw, what they want to achieve, and what are some of the issues that they see. Maybe we only see the gold piece. Maybe they see some other issues. Just be transparent about it and tell us, what is the timeline? Is it going to be another month? Is it going to be 6 months? What is it going to be until you've hammered it out and are going to roll merges out to the entire world? Because I know us here in US East, we've got like one or two really high pop servers. I think one really high pop server, and the rest are little baby servers, medium servers. So these merges are really going to impact the player experience in a positive way, and we are really wanting them. And the longer they wait to roll these merges out, the more players which are going to either transfer off and make more dead servers, or they're just going to stop playing because the game feels dead, and it's just going to be a bad experience for the players. So Amazon really needs to light the fire under their ass. Whatever team's in charge of merges, be transparent about what's going on and provide us a roadmap to get these merges done across everywhere. But I'm glad to see that they've started it. I'm glad to see they used Europe as a test and not us. Sorry, Europeans. And I'm also glad to see it was what appears to be a high success aside from the gold, which again doesn't really matter to me because it's an infinite resource. The other piece of news that is kind of big this week is the PTR. Now, the PTR, they actually pushed the December update to the PTR 1 week ago, last Friday. But they've kind of they've released the updates, and they've given us details about it. I'm sure some of you have probably already looked over it. But I kind of want to dive into this as far as what you could be testing, and more so what we could be seeing coming up in New World with the December launch. So they haven't really done anything along the lines of a seasonal event. I mean, really, the game just launched in September. So the only real things they've had is they've had Halloween and they've had Thanksgiving. So they really haven't had the opportunity to really kind of wow us with some sort of cool in-game event. That's going to change. We are going to have a new limited time event, the Winter Convergence Festival. And this is kind of what the read down is. The holiday of the Winter Convergence has arrived in Eternum, marked by the appearance of increased snowfall and northern lights in the sky. This is a time duality and dichotomy as the Yeti, the Winter Wanderer, comes to the land. While in the settlements, gifts are exchanged to mark the passing of the year. Outside the safety of the walls, the rages of wintry war between the positive forces of winter, championed by the Winter Wanderer, Winter Wanderer's positive side, championed by the Winter Wanderer's positive side in the negative forces of winter. That is so. The positive forces of winter and the forces of winter. Okay, whatever. Our Winter Wanderer is the negative side, so the Yeti is the negative side. Obviously, it's like a boss type thing. That wording is, they should have changed that up a little bit. The player takes on the cause of the Winter Wanderer to collect winter tokens from the repeatable events across the island, able to turn them in at the holiday shop, containing rare and cosmetic items. So again, everything in this game is not pay to win, you pay to look cool. The Winter Wanderer's positive aspect grows in power with each token collected and turned in. Icy winds of the Winter Wanderer bring with it new armors, weapons, furnishings, skins, consumables, and delightful present gifting emote, all themed off of the Winter Eternum holiday of Winter Convergence. They use winter a lot in that. Holy shit, that was a hard read. Jesus. Doing it live. Oh. So it looks like we're going to see a lot of stuff. Now, they've got a breakdown of what some of this stuff is. So, the Winter Wanderer has set up 4 villages to facilitate the joy and cheer of the Winter Convergence. Visit these villages in Everfall, Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood to meet the Winter Wanderer and carry out his holiday quest. So they've got this Yeti here, but the Winter Wanderer sounds more like Santa Claus to me, and this Yeti does not look like Santa Claus. So I don't know. We'll see what that particular thing looks like. So the Winter Convergence activities, the Convergence Spirit. Celebrate the spirit of the seasons by giving helping hand in decorating your favorite settlement. The Convergent Spirit is a special town project that allows players to complete special town project quests to upgrade each settlement's tree of light for improved daily rewards. So that's pretty cool. So we get this new thing, which, to be fair, one of the things that I kind of complain about New World and their town board system is you have to do town boards in order to upgrade the town. Well, once you hit level 60, why do town boards when one of the major things you get out of town boards is experience? Yes, you can do the crafting quests to get crafting experience. That's great. Yeah, you can do the quest to get gold. It's minuscule gold. Yes, you can do the quest in order to get your reputation up for that particular settlement. Okay, that's great. You can also go out and kill mobs and do dungeons for that. Whatever. But the biggest beef I have is the biggest reward is experience, and once you hit level 60, you don't need experience. So for towns really wanting to level themselves up, they either have to use the power of their company and force people to do things that they might not want to do to level the town up, or just hope new players join the game, which there are still new players coming in. There's still players leveling, obviously, but not necessarily the greatest design system. If you change that XP, like I said, I believe in episode 1 maybe, to something like gold, you get more gold and no XP, I think that would entice level 60s to do that a little bit more, but whatever. But now that we have an event coming in, that's really going to push people to work on town boards in the particular settlements: Everfall, Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood. Now, with that being said, since it's only in those locations, the town boards in those locations, the companies running the towns in those locations, are obviously going to get a boost in their particular their particular town stuff. Right? So, it's one of those weird things that I'm not quite sure that it's a good idea to not put it in all the towns. I think that's where I stand with that. I think if one town gets it, I think all of the towns should get it, because that way the revenue is being split and giving to other towns. But we're going to get something new, a Tree of Light, which is going to be a Christmas tree, obviously. Might look a little different, but it's going to be a Christmas tree, and we're going to be able to upgrade it. And then as we upgrade that, we're going to get improved daily rewards for the event. The Lost Present Recovery. Those dastardly frigid folks are spreading their mischief and stealing presents across Eternum. Located throughout the world are lost presents to be recovered and turned into for winter tokens at the Winter Village holiday huts. So we're going to have kind of like a hide and go seek and Easter egg hunt for presents that have been lost around Eternum. So ways to get your tokens for your limited time cosmetics. Gleamite collecting. Bright, glittering, gleaming Gleamite meteors. That is just a mouthful of G's. Of a multitude of colors fall from the night sky during this time of year. As destructive as they are beautiful. Gleamite showers are a new random dynamic event that occurs at night throughout Eternum. Keep your eyes and ears open as you search for locations where the showers are most prevalent. Exchange the harvested crystals for winter tokens at the Winter Village huts. Happy hunting. So we're going to have kind of like I'm going to guess it's kind of like the portal pop-up, so they'll probably be marked on the map. I don't take part right now in the PTR, so I'm not quite sure what it looks like. I'm sure if you guys out there do take part in the PTR, you can email the show or you can drop it in the comments and let me know what that kind of looks like. But my guess is it'll probably be marked on the map, or, there'll be some sort of audio or visual cue that it's happening in the area. You go over there and you collect the crystals and you get your tokens for your limited time cosmetics. Now, before we go on, what I like to see about this is something that I complain about in Sea of Thieves on that show a lot. They are doing things to encourage interesting player interactions, right? So this game is an open world PvEVP, and they have done good things, since the launch to encourage these PvP or interesting player interactions outside of the towns, right? Trying to get people to flag up. You get the added luck and that kind of stuff now. This is great. So this is now going to give players the opportunity to go out, try to find these presents flagged, because I'm sure luck is going to play into something, or going out and harvesting these crystals. Again, harvesting, you get additional luck for harvesting things. So I'm assuming that plays in. But ways to bring players together in concentrated things to fight over things. Now, obviously, you can go through and do it PvE, right? You can unflag and do that. But for those of us who are playing this game PvP flagged 90 to 100% of the time, this is going to be an opportunity for us to have those nice open world fights in order to collect these things, get the tokens, and then turn them in for the limited time cosmetics. So I think Amazon Gaming is doing an excellent job with this event. Obviously, it's their first event, so we'll see how it goes through. But I like the design so far. I like the design. Ice caves. Ice caves are appearing all over Eternum due to the Winter Warrior's desire for the forever winter. They are snowy and icy that the Yeti uses to make snowfall. The rest of Eternum will look like these caves if the onslaught of the warrior is not stopped. These caves will remain behind after the event as scars on the land, sources of wintry magic that refuse to melt even if the warrior is defeated. So these definitely sound like the invasion portals. This new force of winter power invading Eternum and trying to give us new mobs and new things like that. What I really like about this is once the event is over, these locations of power are going to remain, which means we're probably going to keep these mobs and things like that from the event at least concentrated in these particular locations. The art here looks great. Really cool looking weapon. Really cool looking design here. I hope it translates well to the game. New quests. In addition to the new quest series offered by the Winter Wanderer for the Convergence Festival, there will also be several new side story territory quests offered in Restless Shore and Morningdale. So bringing two of the non-Winter Hut areas into play, which is good. Expand the event to other territories other than just where the huts are. This update also introduces a new quest series associated with housing. After you've completed the main story quest, Encroaching Corruption, seek out Architect Giacomo near your starting settlement to begin the quest series. Further quests with Giacomo will be available to unlock as you level up and progress your territory standing. So that's really cool. So get through your main story quest, and then you're going to have opportunities now to do more story with this particular event coming. New journal categories. New quest categories have been added to the journal for epic weapon and armor quests and for skill progression quests. This update is accompanied by new map pins for all quest types. I am so glad to see this because I've been so confused at how people get these epic weapon and armor quests and skill progression quests. And I'm sitting here like, where the hell are these things? I don't know where they're. Oh, well, you have to go here. Okay, well, I'll walk there and find. So I'm glad they're adding pins to the map and they're adding a section in the journal for this. So hopefully it'll give players more of a guidance in order to get these quests either unlocked or do them, find them and do them. So that's really good. I'm glad that's there. It gives people a guiding light instead of just a blank map and just confusion. New features, expertise and gypsum system. Based on feedback on the high watermark system and our desire to have compelling and diverse in-game, we've made some major updates to the end game, which is definitely needed. We've added a new resource called Gypsum that can be acquired each day by doing a variety of activities. Open world named bosses, expedition bosses, outpost rush, arenas. Arenas? We don't even have arenas, but you put it in there. Corrupted breaches, etc. Each activity awards a different type of gypsum that can be crafted into a gypsum orb. These orbs can be crafted into gypsum casts of a weapon, armor, or trinket. Opening a gypsum cast will guarantee an expertise bump in your gear of that type. So again, encouraging players to take part in activities including open world PvP and outpost rush. And in order to get these gypsum stuff and open and guarantee yourself a watermark upgrade. Right now, the only way to do it is chest runs and grinding mercilessly and hoping, crossing your fingers and hoping, when you get that thing out of the chest, it is in fact a watermark upgrade. I have great luck on my character, but I don't get a lot of watermark upgrades, and it sucks because other people are like sitting at 600, and I've been grinding this bitch since the beginning, and I'm still nowhere near anything at 600, which sucks. We've also renamed High Watermark to Expertise. That's a good name change. And now display the current expertise level of each slot on your avatar in the inventory so players can easily track their progress, and also show a level up banner anytime your expertise level is increased. Thank you, Jesus. I have a Google Docs Excel document that I try to keep track of this. Thank you for actually adding it to the game. The watermark system, though we all know it's there, has been a complete mystery on what your current watermark is for each particular slot, when you get an upgrade, what the number is, etc. And unless you are a data nerd like me and tracking it, there's no possible way for you to know what your particular watermark is. So this is an absolutely fantastic change and quality of life update. Thank you so much for adding this. Lastly, we've added 2 new in-game points of interest where players can challenge themselves with difficult content and try to progress their expertise with level 65 enemies and elite chests. Both Malevolence in Eden Grove and the Imperial Palace North Dynasty Shrine have been upgraded to level 66. So this is great. So 2 new places. Again, chest runs go through those places already. Well, not the Imperial Palace, I don't think. But chest runs already go through those places, increasing the level mobs there and giving you the ability to now do elite chests there and also obviously kill for watermarking. This is an excellent update. Thank God. Trade skill aptitude. As someone who's grinding out the trade skills right now, this is welcomed. This is welcomed, I think. We wanted to continue to reward the efforts you make in crafting items yourself, your friends, or to make a buck at the trading post. So we've introduced trade skill aptitude. Upon reaching level 200 in a trade skill, the leveling circle will update to show 3 markers from each of the sides of the circle. So making it a pie with a peace sign in the middle, basically, I'm assuming. Earning trade skill XP will begin progressing you again. And when you reach one of these markers, you will be awarded with a container of useful items that are mostly trade skill relevant, such as crafting mods, special ingredients, and even schematics and recipes. Oh my God, that's amazing. That is freaking amazing. So basically, once you hit 200 and you're like, why the hell do I want to make anything right now? Because unless someone pays me to make something, why the hell do I want to make it? Now there is a reason for you to make it. Not only to make yourself some money or make some stuff for other people, but also now you have the ability to get more mods, more materials, rare materials, recipes, schematics, etc. This is a fantastic change. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can't wait to see this. I'm working on getting my skills up to 200 now, so that'll be good. Each subsequent marker rewards more spectacular container with more rewards than the one before. Gaining enough XP to go all the way around the circle will increment the aptitude counter by 1. The counter will keep counting so you can keep track of how many times you've wrapped your progression around the top level. So it's an infinite scaling system, which is awesome. So it's a way for you to be, so basically you can go out and harvest stuff, but this is also a way to supplement your harvesting in trade skills. Excellent system. We have also introduced a new type of reward with this system, equipment patterns. Equipment patterns are crafted artifacts that enable you to craft a guaranteed gear score 600 item that has specific appearance. Oh, baby. Oh, mama. Thank you. Oh, that sounds amazing. Oh, I think I just got excited. I might have piddled a little bit. Oh, that's fantastic. Patterns require a significant amount of powerful crafting resources to create. Duh, it's guaranteed 600 item. Patterns still roll perks, and players have normal amount of control over their outcome in the crafting mods. Okay, and Azoth. Gotcha. Makes sense. Equipment patterns have a small chance to drop from Arcana, weaponsmithing, armoring, and engineering aptitude or reward chests. Love it. Love it. Love it. Can we please also make it so crafted stuff and purchase stuff actually increases your watermark? Please? Please? Amazon, please? I think that would be great. Maybe not purchase stuff unless it's crafted. At least make it crafted. That way there's a reason for people to craft shit. Aside from just money. Because you craft a level 600 item, you sell it for like 100K, and then that person gets a 600 watermark and a nice item that they want. I think that's good. Due to an issue in our initial PvP damage formula that caused lower gear to be more beneficial in damage mitigation, we have updated our formula. We look forward to hearing from you and your feedback. Oh, great. Great. We've updated our formula because our original formula sucked ass. Great. The PvP damage formula update. We've adjusted the way armor mitigation is calculated to use enemies' gear score value instead of your average gear score. To adjust the difference in armor mitigation, we increase the damage lower level players do to higher level players and reduce the damage higher level players do to lower level players. So this is feedback that came from the community all the way back in I think open beta and again in closed beta, where if you wanted to level up flagged, it sucked because a level 60 could just come steamroll you regardless of your skill. They could be a dog shit player and you could be an awesome player, but just because they were level 60 or 20 levels higher than you, they just mop the floor with you. And this game is supposed to have, because everything's skill shot based, this game is supposed to rely on skill, and that's not how it was. So this is a good change, and I think is going to make a lot of PvP players very, very happy. And players who may have been beefy about this before, I think this is good. I know there's some players out there that are like, I earned my level 60. I should be able to wipe the floor with whoever the hell I want. Well, guess what? You really shouldn't, because if you are a worse player than someone else, that player should learn from you, and they should be punished for not working on their skills. Crit damage application. Critical damage bonuses from masteries or perks are now applied additively instead of multiplicatively. On average, this will reduce the extra damage they provide by a small percentage. All right, I'm cool with that. Buffer window. A general consistency pass has been done across all weapons to adjust the buffering window for dodges, abilities, and basic attacks. The updated buffer window starts when the first frame of the attack that would deal damage or on the first casting frame in the case of abilities that do not deal damage. So I think they're trying to adjust for the ridiculous amount of iframes that some of these abilities are giving, right? Some of these abilities are really, really, really nasty as far as their iframes that they give. So I think they're trying to adjust for that, which I think is an absolutely, absolutely fantastic idea. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see those adjustments being made and things being done about it. So that's the PTR notes. That's currently on the PTR right now, so you can test it out. I don't believe in the article it says anything about when this is going to release. Obviously, it's in PTR as of a week ago, so it's only been in PTR a week. But this is the December. This is the December update, so obviously we'll see it in sometime in December. The Thursday update, the November update came in near the end of November, so this might not come till the end. So a few things that I logged into that I didn't realize happened, and maybe some of you who maybe aren't logging in as much as I am now, but they kind of made a boo-boo back at the end of November, and they accidentally kind of destroyed some of your harvesting gear. So if you haven't logged in since November 30th, you should probably log in, because you'll have a chest in there if you had any harvesting gear, and you'll open it up and you should see stuff. So in our latest update, this is again back in November, we made a mistake that treated all tiers of the in-game horticulture harvesting gear as future content and unintentionally removed them from the game. We apologize for this bug that caused you to lose many items you rightfully earned. If you have lost an acquired piece of harvesting item, you should have an extra rewards chest in your inventory after this update. These items will be provided at the highest tier you previously had acquired in the past, any piece of the harvesting gear. Since they are at the maximum gear score for your tier, they will be gated by the appropriate player level to the equipped item. These items are marked as a bind on equip, like any harvester item piece would you encounter normally. Once you open the chest, it will provide 5 items: the hat, the shirt, the gloves, the pants, and the shoes. Now, thankfully, I had a level 600 harvesting piece, so all my pieces came out as 600. So that was really, really, really nice. So really nice. I loved it. So yeah. The other thing we saw with the November update, again, this is kind of back to Into the Void and stuff like that, but not too much. We obviously have Twitch drops, right? If you haven't got your Twitch drops yet from the game, by all means, if you're in the chat right now, you're earning them. but is the Royal Fisher set. In all honesty, I think it looks like garbage, but some people enjoy it. That is going on right now. And we saw updates to the store itself with some really nice new art. Now, nothing really matched my style, but they did another court regalia outfit. I know some people like that. They did a really cool job with a jester's outfit with the pokey nose mask. I love the art style that they're going with on this stuff. And then they also had the a kind of like a Death's King with a skull mask and a crown. Those are kind of cool. They introduced a new series of weapons. There's a shield, there's a sword, there's an axe, a fire staff, hammer, and bow, along with an ice gauntlet. They are very knight looking, very gold and silver. They look like, I don't know. They kind of look to me like a mix between like a Viking and a Roman. I don't even know how to describe some of these, but I really like the design. I personally picked up, the fire staff. I really like that. I also really like the bow, but I'm not playing the bow right now, so I missed it. Or I didn't miss it, but I chose not to get it. They introduced a really cool new housing package that you can get. The Royal Court decor really matches I would say, the Eben scale style, that really red and vibrant, contrasting colors, gold and red Asian theme. You can basically set up your house to look like a throne room or something. They look very much like Hampton Court. If you've ever seen Hampton Court, or an English castle, where the throne would be for the king or queen. Really cool there. There's a bunny you can get as well, which is really cool. And a few individual things, again, going back to that royal theme. You can get a crown or a tiara. So those are all in the store right now. Now, the one thing I will beef about, and I know this game is all about purchasing cosmetics. I get it. I've played Sea of Thieves for 3 years. I get games doing microtransactions on cosmetics. But there is a limit to what you should do microtransactions on. There is a limit. And of course, any person in the gaming industry and the microtransaction industry is like, no, there is no limit. If one person's going to buy it, then, do it, because that's money, right? But in New World, I think there is a line that Amazon Gaming Studio crossed, and that is the harvesting tool cosmetics. I think this is absolutely stupid. And this is why. You only ever see them when you're harvesting. So there's a large percentage of the population who don't like to do trade skills and who don't like to harvest, who will never see them but might think they're cool and purchase them. There are harvesters out there that work all the time, but again, you're only seeing the item for the short time that you're harvesting a tree. And if you have the right stats, you might take the tree down in one hit. And I really think this is a dumb idea. I know they're making money off of it because I've seen people running by cutting trees that have purchased these sets. But they're 15,000 marks of honor. You get the complete set, you get the wood chopping, you get the sickle, you get the pickaxe, you get the knife, you get the Azoth staff, and you get the fishing pole. I get it. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools, but it's 15,000 marks of fortune. That is a lot of money for something that you don't see very often. And again, I know Amazon Game Studios is going to say, yeah, but people are buying them and we're going to soak in all that money. And I get it. And that's great for the game and great for that stuff. But come on, use your time to bring out more skins for the actual weapons that you're going to see all the time. Use your money to bring out more skins for the actual players, things that you're going to see all the time. They haven't had a good spear cosmetic ever, except for Twitch drops or Amazon Gaming, the Prime loot. They haven't had a good spear. They've had multiple good swords. They've had multiple good axes and hammers. They haven't had a good spear this entire time. My brother plays spear and he's using the harpoon that you got with Amazon Gaming, but they haven't spent the time to give us a good spear. They've given us one good bow and one good musket, but they've given us multiple good hammers and multiple good axes. I think they've given us 2 good swords and 2 good shields, but in general, there's a very big gap in the amount of really good looking cosmetics out there. Hell, if you want the spear, the only option of buying a spear, I won't even say cool looking, is the original spear that they came out with the launch of the game, which looks like a damn pitchfork that you'd catch fish with if you were a caveman. It looks like you picked a stick up of a ground and just put a couple notches in it. Like, it looks like some Survivor shit that they made on a beach in order to poke a fish because they're hungry. It looks atrocious. It looks awful. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually use it. The Halloween gun was cool, but that's the only gun we've seen. As far as bows, we've gotten one bow, and to be honest, for a lot of players, that bow doesn't even match what they're going to go for. We've had a couple cool fire staffs, but we've seen so many hammers and axes. Like, come on, use some of this time, use some of this money to give us cosmetics for our characters that we see all the time. Weapons and armor. These harvesting tools are just, and they've already released 3 sets of them. 3 whole sets of harvesting tools. 4 sets of harvesting tools. Dating all the way back to, I think, like Halloween, like October. They've put in 4 harvesting tool sets. Come on. Let's use our time and let's use our money properly. And let's give characters, and players things that they can actually see on a consistent basis to help tell the story of their character and look cool. Don't give us harvesting skins. That's just, at that point, you're not caring about the player and what the player looks like anymore. You're just money grubbing. You're just money grubbing. And it's awful. You're just trying to just squeeze money out of people. And I personally have bought so many cosmetics in games because that's my way of supporting a game that I'm not paying to play monthly. Okay? But it's absolutely asinine that they're just milking this and putting things in there that, quite frankly, I mean, some of them look cool, but to be honest, like these 2 sets here, the red set, what is this? The Legendary Strength and the Legendary Azoth, they look basically the same. They just changed the color from red to blue. There's no real difference in it. Then there's the Royal Opulence set, which doesn't look royal at all. It looks like some like freaking BDSM dungeon set. And then there was the Halloween set that, again, very Halloween themed, but still kind of garbage. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments. Email the show. All that information's, below the video or in the show notes. Let me know. Drop into the stream. Let me know what you think of the harvesting sets. Because personally, I think it's just money grubbing and just bad. I think it's just bad. And they should really be focusing their time on things that the players can actually see on a consistent basis. As far as ongoing issues with the game, we're still experiencing lag and wars. Not as bad. It's getting better. Still experiencing lag and wars. And some lag and invasions. There's still some major game-breaking things that they really need to address. They really need to make it so the autofill system in Wars and Invasions doesn't exist. That autofill system is so garbage. When you're making a war roster, you should be able to control exactly who is in there, and the game should not autofill. If someone for some reason loses power right before it starts, if someone for some reason gets AFK kicked because they had to go use the restroom or take care of something personally, it takes forever to try to get them back in because the game autofills. In the invasion system, you don't even have the ability to build your roster aside from 10 people. And then the game autofills. And then you have to sit there and try to move people out and kick people and make people feel bad because, hey, I got into an invasion. Oh, I wasn't supposed to. They really need to make the war roster building system the same as the invasion and take out the autofill bullshit. Like, they could probably keep the autofill in and just make it like 1 minute after it starts, if you have an open slot, you autofill. But not during the not during the pre-session. Let the leaders of these events build the rosters they want, and they can control the rosters completely. There's also an issue with moving people. Not only can you not set the rosters and make sure they stay that way because of the autofill system, there's a bug where people can't move people in and out of it. So we had 2 wars back to back. What was it? Thursday. You can check those out on the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, those videos will be up over the next couple days. I think one will actually come out before this episode. If you're on the podcast listening, you can also check those out, Davrim TV on YouTube, and you can see the perspective of me and my squad leading shot calling, which is funny and fun and loud. You can check those out. But we had issues where the main leader of the army, the main person who controls the roster, had no ability to move people in and out. It was completely locked and bugged. And that is a problem. That is a major problem. We're still seeing the exploits with the Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet lag issues in Wars. Again, not as bad as it used to, but definitely some more server performance. Definitely some more performance looking into there. But it's moving in the right direction, right? It's moving in the right direction. But overall, I think the game is moving in the right direction. There are definitely some complaints to have, but I'm hoping with the server merges coming up, it's going to stabilize some servers, make some servers more populated, and really give players a reason to continue to play. Because I think this game has a lot of potential, but again, potential is energy that we haven't used yet. It's energy at rest, if you will. And the game could really take a slide really, really quickly. I'm just curious. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Let's see here. Player base, New World. Let's just see what the overall numbers look like. Again, this is a Steam game. So we should... I'm trying to find there we go. So this is a Steam game. So obviously we have a good idea of what this is. It's not across multiple platforms. So, when it was launched, October, so the first kind of statistic drop in was October. It peaked out of just sub of 1 million players in October. What is that? 410,000 average players a day played the game. In November, so last month, we saw a decrease in average players of 255,000. That's to be expected. So a downfall of 62%. Peak players 357,000. So huge decline in the peak players, which again, we knew that was going to happen. Now, starting in December, so for the last 30 days, we've seen another decline of 38,000 players, 248,000 peak players. So again, the peak players is starting to stabilize out. The overall players on all the time is starting to stabilize out. So we're still going to see a downward trend here, probably a little bit longer, but eventually it is going to stabilize out, and we're starting to see it start to stabilize out. In the past 24 hours as of this recording, which is on the 10th, we had a 24-hour peak of 111,000 players. So again, a slide from the 30-day, the last 30-day peak. And 20 minutes ago, 93,000 players were playing, so right around that peak. So again, overall, I think the game is starting to level out with the players who are actually going to stick with it. If you were enjoying the game or didn't have a good experience early on for whatever reason, do try to come back and log in and play. Remember, it's a pay once, play forever game. We might have to pay for expansions or something, but we don't know that yet. But just come back and check it out. There's a lot of good features and a lot of good quality of life things they have introduced. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but I think they're on the right track, and I'm so glad that they are taking into account our feedback as players. Go to the forums. Drop your feedback on the forums. Don't just go be a negative Nancy, whiny baby on Reddit and bitch on Reddit. Who cares what you say on Reddit? Who cares what you say on Twitter? Go to the actual official forums and actually post constructive, well thought out feedback. Don't sit there and whine and say that garbage and say this game sucks. Give them actual constructive feedback. Tell them what the issue is, when you're experiencing the issue, and actually have an adult post about what's going on, and I promise you, they're going to look at it. Will they make changes immediately? No, but if you bitch and whine at them, they're definitely not going to give two shits about what you have to say. So be an adult, be professional, go in there, give them constructive feedbacks, give them the whys, the wins, and how you would change it to make it better for all players, not just you. Go onto their forums. I'm telling you, they're listening. They're watching it, they're listening, and they're adjusting their agile development system to make sure that us, the players that are remaining, are being listened to and things are being adjusted for us. So that's a really good feature and a really good quality to have in our developers. So guys, thank you very much for listening to episode 3. If you haven't done so already, if you're watching on the YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment. If you're listening on the podcasting app, tell your friends about the Eternum News Network and the podcast here. I would love to have more folks listening. We are going up in numbers actually quite quickly on this podcast. I was pleasantly surprised when I took a look at the first 2 episodes and how well they're doing. So thank you very much. Love you guys so much. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I hope to see you next week live on Twitch, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/Davrim. Take care of yourselves, guys. We'll see you next week on episode 4 of the Eternum News Network.